Hi everyone, I'm Troy, and this is Fox in Oak Christmas. Ooh, that's getting to be a bit of a tongue twister. This is vlog number 13, and today we're going to stitch some squares together. So, as you might remember from episode, I want to say episode 7, might have been episode 8, I was just increasing the sizes of each of these squares from the 2020 Traveling Afghan by 25 different designers, but organized by Two of Wands, Alexandra. I can't remember her last name. It's on the screen, and it's down in the description. The page is there. And I've been just trucking along, and I finished that last night, and I darned in all my ends. So the next thing is for me to sew everything together. So I tried a few different sewing techniques just to see what I liked best as I went along. So I tried a couple different ways of doing single crochets. I did a couple different ways of slip stitches, but I didn't like any of them as much as I like the mattress stitch, just because the single crochet created a ridge that I wasn't really happy with, because it always kind of like biased to one side of the seam depending on what side I was crocheting from. Same with the slip stitch, just didn't have as much of a raised ridge. And the mattress stitch just creates a really tight seam. It just looks like two pieces of single crochet just like laying next to each other. So that's what I like. And that also saves a lot of yarn since I'm going to be sewing using a single strand for each of these sides instead of using probably 2 or 3 balls just to sew everything together by doing single crochets. So I did already record some of this to show you how to do it, but when I checked to show you the zippering effect that I love so much of the mattress stitch, I noticed that this camera up here, the one that you can see my work with, was super out of focus. So we're going to start that all again. So I've already have a little bit of section done here. So what I'm going to be doing is continuing forward. Normally when you're doing a mattress stitch, you want to have your pieces side by side like this, especially in knitting. But for the sake of today, I am going to pucker these a little bit more, so that way you can see where I'm putting my needle. So let me just double check to make sure that's still in frame. Yep, that looks pretty good. Okay. So I've puckered my stitches so you can see the tops of both of my single crochet rows here. So this is the last row of this square, and this is the last row of this square. And you can see that they're going in opposite directions. So my V's are going this way, my V's are going that way, okay? But the trick to do this is the same. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to be picking up the stitch in between the legs of the single crochet here. So we've got the legs of the stitch here. So we're going to go up into those legs and grab that little stitch that lays in between them. If you look at how the tops of crochet stitches in general, and a lot of knit stitches, are created, is that these V's are actually like looping behind the V on top of it. So if we look at these ones here, we've got the V, but then it loops behind the next V, which then loops behind the next V. So what we're doing is we're grabbing that strand that's behind the V's by going through the center of them. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this little leg there, and we're going to pull that, and then we're going to grab in here, like so. Okay, and then since I've already grabbed that one, I'm going to go to the next round. And then continue going back and forth. And this is basically how you do your mattress stitch. So another thing that you typically want to be doing when you start your mattress stitch, which I did not do here, is making sure that A, your work has the same number of stitches that you're sewing together, and B, lining them up perfectly before starting. I did not do that here because I know that my squares each have different numbers of stitches along the final edge here, because I just kind of just added single crochets as I went along to make the squares big enough. So some of them will have 40 squares, some of them will have 35. So what I'm going to be doing instead is once I get to the quarter point or the halfway point and the 3/4 point, each of those 3 points, I'm just going to double check to make sure that I don't need to redistribute some of my stitches. So if I look closely, I'm not going to zoom out so you can see the top here. It looks like this square is going to end about 1 stitch early. But if you look down here, it started about 1 stitch early. So I will fix that when I get to the corners, which I'll show you tomorrow how to sew the corners together. But it looks like I can probably get away with just going stitch for stitch and then just making sure that my top corner here is perfect. So I'm just going to keep working at this, but before I go into fast mode, where this happens all in fast motion, I want to show you my favorite thing about mattress stitch. So here you can see that all of my stitches have not been pulled tight, and you don't have to do that, and you don't want to do that, because once you've got a few stitches done, all you need to do is just kind of like hold your yarn firmly here, and I will just check to make sure everything's in frame. Yep. Yep. And all you need to do is just pull on your working yarn, and it just sucks everything together and makes a nice tight seam. Okay. Oh, it looks like I missed one. So I will have to go back. I will rip that out and fix that. So I'm going to go ahead and fast forward here. I'm going to get this done here for you today. And I will see you guys tomorrow.